I loved your essay before the pandemic, Michael, for Project Syndicate, What My Younger Self Never Expected. Your younger self never expected a pandemic, and particularly one that was so formative in Italy. What is your observance of how we move on from this pandemic?
Well, Tom, I think, and Francine, it's nice to be with you. I think, first of all, we have to be prepared for very, very slow economic recoveries. I mean, I've taken a look at China, and their recovery is slower than anybody really expected. And we've got, I just read a detailed report on Korea, similar things. Consumption is being held back, even for opening economies, by risk aversion. And major markets for the big exporters are closed down because of the pandemic. So we'll make it back, but it's just going to be very slow.
You are expert at the theory of the unobservable and what's called the type 2 risk, the thing that's out there. L.Arian would say the unknown unknown. What is the unobservable
Correct.
right now to you that has your maximum attention?
To me, the most important thing I think to understand is that with a pandemic and in the absence of effective testing regimes, basically you have markets that are clogged up by imperfect information. Basically, everybody out there that you run into is a risk. And the only way you can get rid of that risk, as far as I can see, is with an effective vaccine, which we just have to wait for an unknown period of time, or for a massive regime of testing. If we manage to do either one of those things, then that will materially speed up the recovery, because once it's communicated, it will lower the risk and take away the principal brake on consumption. In America, that's 70% of the economy. So that's kind of where we are. I'm focused on missing information at a very micro level in markets because of our inability to sort between the people who are infectious and the people who are not.
Michael Spence, I don't know if there's data to show us what's the optimum time of reopening an economy. I mean, at the moment they're reopening slowly, but really just tracking new infections in real time. Is there a better way of doing it?
Yeah. Well, there was a better way to do it, which is to invest. I mean, a lot of places, including where I sit, you didn't invest fast enough in, getting ready for an opening up. So there's two things I think that need to be said clearly. One, you can't lock down an economy for a very long time without producing an excessive amount of economic destruction and pain and suffering unrelated to the virus. It's just not possible. And the second thing is that, dealing with the health problem effectively is an accelerator for the speed of opening up, precisely because it deals with this risk issue. So we're all behind the curve in one way or another and doing the best we can. On the question of when to open up, that's a decision that has to be based on values, and our leaders, our politicians and policymakers have to make that choice. I don't have any problem with that. I'm not one of these people that think that experts and scientists should make this choice. They should provide inputs, and then the people we elect have to make the choice. And they're uncomfortable choices at this point, because we're taking risks that in an ideal alternative scenario we wouldn't have to take to the same extent.
Michael Spence, what do you worry about most in the recovery phase? Is it the number of unemployed, and how long will it take us to get those people back into a job in the U.S.?
Yeah, it is. I think that's the core of it. I would say it's unemployment and the destruction of businesses that won't be able to come back at the end because they've been knocked out. And I'm hoping that these massive stimulus efforts, are complemented by essentially debt forgiveness and other things, so that we minimize that dimension of the damage to the economy.